They explored, they built, they thrived. Until the collapse.
Regularly playing Destiny for the past decade, through all its unforgettable highs and painful lows, has been a tremendous leap of faith for me and my fellow Guardians. This uneven saga hasn't always felt like it was leading somewhere worth following. But with Destiny 2: The Final Shape, our faith has been rewarded at last. The campaign ends this tale on a high note. The new Prismatic subclasses are exactly the badass shock to the system its sandbox needed. The fresh set of weapons are a literal blast to mess around with, and the fearsome Dread enemy faction add welcome variety and difficulty to the battlefield. Even the raid, which I only managed to best after days of getting my teeth kicked in, is one of the most impressive and devilishly challenging activities developer Bungie has ever produced. Destiny 2 might still be quite messy, with its hodgepodge of long-running issues and the Milky Way's most confusing RPG systems and menus, but it's also more fun to play than it's ever been right now, and that's just about enough to bring a tear to this veteran player's eye. If you're arriving extremely late to the space opera party, The Final Shape is the latest and greatest expansion in Bungie's ongoing, magically infused multiplayer FPS. As an immortal and homicidally inclined guardian, I've had the privilege of defending humanity against all manner of alien threats over the years, from evil sorcerer insects to an extremely boring robot army, all while looting cool weapons and armor, unlocking sweet space magic abilities, leveling up, and juggling so many currencies, menus, and ill-explained RPG systems that your head is liable to explode Ark of the Covenant style if you don't have a friend to initially walk you through it all. After 7 years of expansions, patches, and seasonal updates, Destiny 2 has grown into one of the best and 12 of the worst games you'll ever play, all wrapped into a live service package unlike anything else out there. It's great, I hate it. Destiny has an inconsistent track record with its storytelling, but thankfully The Final Shape counts itself among those rare, solid instances. It finally focuses on the big bad that's been alluded to from the very beginning, for a showdown with the fate of the universe on the line.
You're still resisting.
That story manages to succeed in its most crucial mission, actually delivering a satisfying ending to this epic tale, and I'm genuinely shocked how well they managed to pull that off. It's not a complete success, as the campaign takes some odd dramatic shifts, like taking a main character known for his stoicism and turning him into an emotional loose cannon for no discernible reason.
Eyes up, Commander.
But on the other hand, the story's archenemy, the Witness, is interesting and intimidating in ways I wasn't expecting. There's still plenty of loose threads and unanswered questions that will presumably be addressed in whatever comes next for the series, but we finally got a proper conclusion to the main plot we've been following all these years, with some really epic fights and emotional moments wrapping things up much more neatly than I thought possible.
Keep moving!
The levels you'll play and new areas you'll scour while enjoying the campaign are some of my favorites yet. Delving into the body of a god, you'll explore the pale heart of the traveler, a bizarre reality where one's memories, desires, and fears manifest themselves in the physical world. What starts as an idyllic but peculiar world begins to shift into a horrific landscape as the twisted wishes of the Witness corrupt it, with a bunch of gross hands and faces filling up the environment. The missions you'll go on while exploring these disturbing and surreal areas follow in the fantastic footsteps of the Witch Queen by adding light raid mechanics and challenging combat encounters, which provide more than the mindless shooting hallways that Destiny sometimes finds itself reduced to. In one level, you'll perform a ritual to kill this massive boss, And in another, you'll battle to the top of these icy peaks, taking advantage of gale winds to propel yourself across massive gaps. One of the things that makes these missions so enjoyable is the first new enemy faction Destiny has gotten in 6 years, called the Dread. Even the 2 other enemy factions added in previous Destiny expansions were mostly remixes of existing enemies, so one could argue that the Dread are the first fully original faction so far, and what a difference that makes. These bat-like creatures fly around pelting you with blaster fire and screeching at you to slow your movement, while these melee bruisers rush in with deadly blades and send explosive creatures flying at you if you don't kill them in a specific way. Most of these additions are completely awesome, injecting some desperately needed variety into a sandbox that has stagnated over time. That said, there are a few that are less inspired. These guys, for example, appear almost as reskinned enemies from an existing race and pelt you with irritating abilities, including one that makes you move extremely slowly for way too long, which resulted in more than a few deaths that felt a bit cheap. The final shape also adds to Destiny's space magic repertoire with a new subclass called Prismatic, which allows you to mix and match certain light and darkness abilities found in other subclasses to create interesting combinations. It then adds some new abilities of its own on top of that, from grenades that combine different damage types and status effects in order to do things like suspend enemies in the air and electrocute everything in the vicinity, to new super abilities that might let you throw giant exploding axes onto the battlefield, then pick them up to wreak havoc on the enemy. Being able to wield a mix of elements and abilities that were previously locked behind their own specific subclasses is a major game changer, and takes build crafting to the next level in terms of customization and playing around with different possibilities. After many hours of trying out the subclasses and unlocking all the different customization options, I still feel like I'm only just scratching the surface of what's possible with this new, super unique, and deeply configurable new toolset. That goes a long way in a live service shooter that can often feel stagnant after so many years of lobbying the same sparkly magic abilities. The badass prismatic toolkits couldn't have come at a better time either, because you'll sure need them in the final shape's raid, Salvation's Edge, which serves as the ultimate test of your skills, your build crafting prowess, and the weapons and armor you've looted. This raid is the most difficult challenge Bungie has ever created, and after sweating it out for more than 25 hours in recent days to get my first clear, it easily tops my all-time raid list. The mechanics are complex and require intense precision and communication from those on your team. The constantly spawning enemies push your skills to the limit at nearly every moment, and for the first time in Destiny history, there's no room for a few players to take a back seat and get carried by their friends. If you don't have all 6 members of your fire team playing their role to perfection, you'll find yourself repeatedly and utterly crushed by the enemy. As someone who really enjoys a challenge, mastering each encounter of this raid was a peak Destiny experience for me. Destiny 2's potential was clear from the first time I blasted my way through the Red War 7 years ago, but Bungie never actually realized much of that potential until the final shape. This finale expansion story largely succeeds at delivering a satisfying ending. The raid is brutal and epic, the prismatic subclasses breathe fresh life into combat, and the new enemy faction adds some much needed variety to the things you'll spend hours shooting in the face. None of that makes Destiny's regular avalanche of confusing RPG systems, currencies, and storylines any easier to digest. But for the first time in a long while, I can wholeheartedly recommend pushing through that darkness, because there's now a bright and beaming light at the end of the tunnel. For more, check out our reviews of Wuthering Waves and the Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC. And for everything else, stick with IGN.